Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John, aka the Tin Man Chef, and today we're going to be making a delicious version of chicken and dumplings with homemade dumplings, aka homemade buttermilk biscuits. So if you like what you see here, go ahead and leave a like, follow and subscribe, and share with your friends. But for now, sit back, relax, or follow along, and we'll get started. We're gonna start by making the buttermilk biscuits. We have 1 egg, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 4 teaspoons baking powder, ½ teaspoon cream of tartar, and 1 cup of buttermilk milk. We also have 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and what's not on screen is 1 stick of super cold butter sliced up. We'll go ahead and put the egg into our flour. Then we'll add the rest of our dry ingredients to the flour as well. Next, our buttermilk goes in, and buttermilk is supposed to be a little chunky because it is butter fat. Now, while everything is in the bowl, we're going to go ahead and hand mix it. It is best to wear gloves because the dough is so sticky, and we don't like to be sticky here. Plus, it makes cleanup so much easier to where you don't have to clean as hard. Now that the dough is coming together, we're going to go ahead and put it on the butcher block / working surface, making sure that we get all the flour out of the bowl. And you can see as I am kneading the flour, the dough is coming together more and more. More kneading is necessary, and it can be a bit of a workout, but with some perseverance, we'll get through it. Fun fact, back in the olden times, bakers used to not put salt into their bread because the salt from their sweat was enough for the bread. As we knead the dough, we do have a little cup of flour on the side so that we can flour our work surface and the tools to keep the dough from sticking. Now that the dough is in a workable state, we're going to go ahead and roll it out a little bit. And we're just going to add our super cold sliced butter. If you've ever made pastry dough, then we're essentially making a thicker version of that. We will add our butter, then fold the dough, roll it out again, and then add more butter and fold again. We're going to knead the dough till all of our butter chunks are small and cannot be seen in the dough, as you can see here. Once your dough is ready, we're going to go ahead and roll it out to 1/4 of an inch thick. A bit thinner than you would with traditional biscuits, but we'll need to make them thin to make our dumplings. You can use a cookie cutter or a knife to cut out the biscuits, but you should get at least around 16 from this dough by cutting and then re-rolling out the dough. And I just go around the outside and work my way in because there is more surface area to make more biscuits. Now that we have our biscuits cut out, we're going to go ahead and add a little flour on each top of them so that we're able to stack them without them sticking. As you can see, this one sticks a little bit, but I used my bench scrape to get it off. A bench scrape is perfect to use so that you can scrape dough off of the work surface as well as clean up the flour. Now we're going to go ahead and get a half sheet pan. We're going to line it with foil, grease it up, and we're going to put our biscuits down. We're not worried too much about the spacing of the biscuits because they're not going to go wide, they're going to go tall. And now we're going to go ahead and wash them with an egg wash. This is just 1 egg with a teaspoon of water. And we're going to go ahead and cover the tops of them, make them look perfect and beautiful, just like Hardee's biscuits or Carl's Jr. for the people out on the West Coast. Now, if you want to make regular biscuits, you just roll it out to 1/2 an inch instead of 1/4 of an inch to make thicker, more fluffier biscuits. We're going to put the biscuits into the oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes to bake. Once they're done and golden brown, you can brush them with some melted butter and set them off to the side to cool. Now we're going to go ahead and play with our biscuits a little bit, make sure that they are done. You can see that they are a little bit thinner than normal biscuits. And what we're going to do with the leftover dough, because there should be some leftover dough from the biscuits that you made, we're going to cut those into fourths and make them into what's called drop dumplings so that they can go into our chicken and dumplings. So now we're going to go ahead and make the chicken portion of our meal. We're going to start out with 3 to 4 carrots. Mine are a bit small, so I'll go ahead and use 4. We'll also need 4 stalks of celery, half of a large onion, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of Tabasco, 2 tablespoons of better than bouillon chicken stock to make a quart of chicken stock. We also have half a stick of butter, some fresh herbs including rosemary, destemmed, parsley, thyme, just missing the sage so we can't go to the Scarborough Fair. And finally we have heavy cream. We also cannot forget the salt and pepper. We're going to start by peeling our vegetables. Our carrots are needing a bit of a makeover, so we'll start with them. But don't worry, the scraps are going to Zelda, our personalized home garbage disposal. Our dog Zelda loves her vegetables, so we'll save them all for her. Contrary to popular belief, carrots do not improve eyesight. The British during World War II created a campaign to throw the Germans off the trail of radar because they said that they saw their planes due to their service people eating so many carrots. Now, while we're chopping our veggies, we're making what's called a mirepoix. A mirepoix is the base of most stocks, sauces, and consommes in traditional cooking. Mirepoix is 25% carrots, 25% celery, and 50% onion. And you see that is a giant onion, so I just went ahead and cut it in half like I said, and we're going to dice that up as well. And because I worked in a restaurant, I have learned that there are no scraps to be wasted, so make sure that we get all of the onion off of the root that we can. Now we have our fresh herbs. We're going to finely chop them up so that they can help our dish smell so fragrant throughout the house. We want to finely chop them up to make sure that everything is incorporated and is edible. Now we have our chicken boobs, and because they're F cups, we're going to go ahead and cut them in half, butterfly, and then cube them up after we play with them a bit, because everybody likes to play with boobs. And you may be saying, John, why aren't you wearing any gloves? Well, with this, I do wash my hands vigorously throughout the whole entire video, and I also clean everything very well with Clorox wipes. Now we're going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of olive oil to a medium-sized pot over medium-high heat to saute our chicken in. This will take about 5 to 6 minutes, and we're not going to cook them fully because once we cook them, they are going to come out a little bit raw, but once we put them back into the chicken and dumplings sauce, it is going to finish up cooking the chicken. We're going to sear them and create what's called a fond on the bottom, which is the flavor component to the sauce. We're going to now add salt and pepper to our chicken so that it is seasoned well. What we are doing is building the pot so that when we make our velouté sauce, it will be a super flavorful velouté. Velouté sauce is a chicken stock based sauce and is one of the 5 French mother sauces. You may have made it before, but now you know what it's called. Once our chicken has cooked for 5 to 6 minutes, we're going to go ahead and scoop them out and place them onto a warm plate. You can see the fond on the bottom that is formed, but we have more to add. We're going to then melt a half stick of butter on medium heat. Once we have melted that half stick of butter, we're going to go ahead and add our mirepoix to the mixture and give it a good stirring to make sure that all of the butter is incorporated with the mirepoix. We're going to go ahead and saute our mirepoix with the butter, making sure that the onions are cooked through. We don't want to cook the celery or carrots all the way just yet, just because they are going to cook in the sauce as well, and we don't want them to be too soft. Now we're going to add our garlic, as well as our freshly chopped herbs, and we're going to cook that until it is aromatic. We're also going to go ahead and scrape down the sides of the pot, make sure that everything is incorporated and is not burning. Now we're going to add our Tabasco, our apple cider vinegar, our Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of salt and pepper. We're going to give this a good stir so that we are scraping the bottom for that fond so that it does incorporate well into our sauce. Now we're going to go ahead and add the flour and make what's called a roux, which is a thickener for many sauces. A roux is just 2 ingredients, oil and flour, and a roux can also be used to deepen and darken sauces like Cajun gumbo. But for now, we're just going to cook it for about 1 minute to keep it blonde. Then we're going to add our chicken stock, which makes a velouté sauce. We're going to make sure that we are stirring the sauce well so that the roux and the stock are well incorporated, because if not, you'll have globs of flour, which is not good for a smooth sauce. We're going to add our room temperature heavy cream. The reason that I say room temperature is because if it was cold, there is a high chance of the cream curdling and or turning sour, and we don't want that. Mix the cream well into the velouté sauce thoroughly. Bring the sauce up to a slight boil on medium-high heat and very carefully hand drop your raw dumplings into the pot. As we do this, you can see that the dumplings get thicker because they have baking powder and cream of tartar in them. Now for our last step, we're going to go ahead and mix our cooked chicken into the sauce and layer it with our cooked biscuits. We'll cover the pot and place it into an oven at 350 degrees for 15 minutes or until the top of the biscuits are steamed and softened. Now that we have taken the chicken dumplings out of the oven, you can see that as I take the lid off, the biscuits have sunk down a bit. You'll want to get a big ladle with a bowl and serve it up. This recipe will feed about 4 people. And there you guys go, a nice home-style bowl of chicken and dumplings. If you like this recipe, most definitely click subscribe, click that follow button and that notification button so that you know when I post next, and I will see you guys next week. Also, make sure you share this with your friends and family on Facebook, Instagram, and even Twitter. But for now, bye!